Welcome to today's video. We're going to dive deep into the world of rare coins and uncover the top 6 most valuable 2 shillings and 10 pence coins that have shaken the coin collecting market. These aren't just pieces of old currency. They're treasures of history, with silver glows and unique color shades that make collectors chase them with burning passion. These coins have become major players in the numismatic world, with some selling for jaw-dropping prices that could change lives overnight. Whether you're a coin enthusiast, a history lover, or someone who simply appreciates the beauty and significance of rare currency, this video is made just for you. A small coin, round, heavy with copper, nickel, gleaming faintly under the light. On its face, the regal portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, and on its back, the proud crowned lion. This is a 1968 10 new pence coin, a piece that was never meant to change anyone's destiny, and yet, in the world of numismatics, even the most ordinary-looking coin can become a lightning bolt of fortune. The year 1968 was a turning point in Britain's history. The old pounds, shillings, and pence system was slowly being phased out, preparing for decimalization. To ease the transition, the Royal Mint released the new decimal denominations early. The 10 new pence coin was among the first, carrying the promise of a modern money system, but also unintentionally planting the seed for one of the most discussed collectible coins of its era. When first struck, the 1968 10p was simply a large silver-colored coin meant to match the old florin in size and value. Millions were minted. Shops accepted them. People pocketed them without a second thought. But as decades rolled forward, collectors began to whisper. Some of these coins, hidden in drawers or jars, held value far beyond their face. Condition, rarity, and story turned simple change into a treasure map. What makes the 1968 10p so captivating today is not just its role in decimalization, but the myth surrounding it. Stories circulate that one of these coins, under the right circumstances, could fetch millions. While most are still worth modest amounts, the belief in its life-changing potential keeps the fire alive. And belief, in the world of collecting, is often half the battle. Imagine finding one in brilliant uncirculated condition. Edges crisp, design sharp, luster untouched. Coins like that, preserved from circulation, are rare survivors. Add to that the possibility of minting errors. A double strike, a misaligned die, a wrong metal blank, and suddenly you're not just a coin but a one-of-a-kind relic. Collectors fight fiercely for such anomalies, and when passion collides with scarcity, prices skyrocket. Now, the market for coins is not just about supply and demand. It is about storytelling. A 1968 10p with an error or impeccable preservation is not merely a coin. It is a chapter of history you can hold. Auction houses thrive on this drama. 2 bidders, convinced they are fighting for destiny, can lift prices to staggering heights. This is how legends of million-dollar coins are born. It must be said plainly, the vast majority of 1968 10p coins will never sell for astronomical sums. They are abundant, and circulated examples are worth little more than their metal value. But in the world of collectibles, all it takes is one extraordinary specimen to reset expectations. One dramatic sale is enough to make headlines and lure thousands into checking their own pockets, hoping for fortune. For many, the dream of owning such a coin is intoxicating. Think about it. An ordinary object, something you might have ignored for decades, suddenly becomes a key to untold wealth. It's the ultimate underdog story, and human beings love nothing more than a tale where the overlooked turns priceless overnight. But beyond fantasy lies fact. The 1968 10p is historically significant. It was among the very first decimal coins Britain ever saw, the dawn of a new age of money. That alone ensures it will always hold collector interest. Its sheer age, now over half a century, makes pristine examples increasingly difficult to find. As time wears away common coins, the ones left untouched rise in importance. If you have one of these coins, treat it with respect. Never clean it, never polish it, never strip away its natural tone. Collectors pay premiums for originality. Even the faintest scratch or chemical shine can destroy value. Preservation is everything in the coin world, and fortune often hides in the details only a trained eye can see. Picture this coin not as a mere object, but as a bridge across time. From 1968 to today, it has seen empires change, technology race ahead, and fortunes rise and fall. Yet it sits quietly, unchanged, waiting for someone to realize its true worth. That silence, that patience, is part of what makes coins so alluring. Let us not forget, money was created to be spent. These coins are designed to pass through hands, buy bread, pay for milk, ride the bus. That one of them could instead buy you a mansion, a fleet of cars, or a lifetime of luxury is irony of the highest order. A tool of commerce transforms into a symbol of wealth itself. Collectors and dreamers both know the thrill of the hunt. Flea markets, estate sales, forgotten boxes, and attics. These are the treasure chests of our age. Somewhere hidden in such places might lie that 1968 10p in extraordinary condition, waiting for discovery. The story of the finder would itself become part of the coin's legend. The truth is, the 1968 10 new pence coin embodies both worlds, reality and myth. In reality, most are modestly valued. In myth, one can be priceless. And somewhere between those poles lies the fascination that keeps collectors awake at night. It is not just about money. It is about possibility. Every coin tells a story, but few tell it so well as this one. A coin struck for a practical purpose, ordinary in appearance, yet extraordinary in reputation. It teaches us that value is not always face value, and that fortune often hides in plain sight. To hold one is to hold not only metal but mystery. So if you find a 1968 10 new pence coin in your collection, don't dismiss it. Examine it, treasure it, and dream about it. Maybe yours is the one that defies expectation, the one that turns myth into reality, the one that makes you a billionaire overnight. Until then, it remains what has always been, a symbol of hope, a whisper of fortune, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest promises. Next up, the 1951 2 shillings coin is more than just a piece of metal struck for circulation. It is a relic from a world still recovering from the scars of the Second World War, a world where money was tight, yet national pride still glimmered in every symbol placed on coinage. To the casual eye, it might appear like a simple copper-nickel disc, dull with age. But to those who know its secrets, the 1951 shilling is a sleeping giant, a coin capable of turning ordinary lives into fairy tales of unimaginable wealth. Issued under the reign of King George VI, the 1951 2 shillings coin carried with it both history and hope. The obverse proudly displayed the portrait of the king, a man who had guided Britain through the darkest days of war, while the reverse bore the crowned Tudor rose, flanked by the thistle, the shamrock, and the leek, representing the unity of the United Kingdom. Each detail carved into its surface was not just decoration, but symbolism, strength, survival, and continuity. The year 1951 was not just any year. It was a festival of Britain, a nationwide celebration marking resilience and renewal. Britain was stepping into a new era, showing the world that despite the hardships, it had not been broken. Coins minted during this period absorbed some of that spirit, carrying forward the essence of survival and rebirth. To hold a 1951 shilling is to hold a miniature medal of honor for an entire nation's endurance. But what makes this coin extraordinary is not just its design or its historical background. It is a rarity of certain examples, those with the unusual copper hue, the so-called copper side. While the standard issue was struck in copper nickel, over time, some coins developed a distinct reddish glow, a toning that collectors view as miraculous. This copper tint transforms a coin into something unique, separating it from the millions of ordinary examples. It is this feature that gives birth to staggering values in the market today. Condition, too, is everything. The majority of 1951 shillings that survived are worn, scratched, or heavily circulated. But those preserved in fine or uncirculated condition tell a completely different story. When the lettering around the rim is crisp, when the king's portrait shines without blemish, when the rose on the reverse glitters with clarity, the coin ceases to be just old money. It becomes art, a masterpiece of numismatic craftsmanship. Now picture this. A coin that once bought a small bag of sugar in 1951 is today worth a fortune beyond the wildest imagination. The very thought is thrilling. Collectors across the globe are willing to pay prices that soar into the millions for the finest, rarest examples. This is not exaggeration. This is a reality of passion, rarity, and history colliding in the numismatic marketplace. The 1951 2 shillings, in good condition with the copper side glow, is the kind of coin that makes millionaires overnight. Why does this coin command such an aura of mystique? It is because of the psychology of collecting. People are not simply buying metal. They are buying history. They are buying legacy, and above all, they are buying exclusivity. To own a rare 1951 shilling is to own a piece of Britain's story that almost no one else can claim. It is prestige in its purest form, and prestige always carries a price far beyond reason. Think of the journey this coin might have taken. Perhaps it sat in the pocket of a factory worker heading home after a long day, or maybe it was handed to a child to buy a sweet at the corner shop. Ordinary hands held it, never realizing its extraordinary destiny. And yet, through chance and survival, it lived on, waiting silently for decades until collectors awakened its hidden value. Today, those same coins, once used without thought, are treated like priceless jewels. The copper-sided examples are particularly enigmatic. Some argue that they're the result of special minting batches. Others say they are natural toning caused by storage conditions over time. Whatever their origin, they glow with a warmth that sets them apart. Collectors adore mystery, and mystery always magnifies value. A copper-sided 1951 shilling is not just a coin. It is a riddle, and owning it feels like possessing the answer to a secret only a few will ever know. The financial power of such a coin cannot be overstated. Presented at the right auction, under the right spotlight, a pristine 1951 copper-sided 2 shillings can ignite a bidding war that shatters expectations. Wealthy collectors, driven by pride as much as by passion, will compete fiercely, driving the price into millions. For the seller, it is life-changing. A single coin becomes a bridge between ordinary existence and unimaginable luxury. But the coin's true worth goes beyond money. It embodies memory. It tells the story of Britain rebuilding itself after war, of a king whose reign symbolized duty, and of a nation celebrating resilience through the Festival of Britain. Holding it is like traveling back to 1951, hearing the sounds of London's bustling streets, seeing the pride of families visiting exhibitions, feeling the hope of a people determined to rise again. In this way, the coin becomes more than currency. It is a time capsule, a storyteller, a piece of art forged not just by the Royal Mint but by history itself. When collectors bid millions, they are not only buying a coin, they are buying experience, an emotion, and a fragment of time that can never be recreated. Every tale of treasure has its moment of revelation, and the 1951 2 shillings is no exception. People who find one in a family collection, tucked away in a drawer or old box, often cannot believe their eyes when they learn its potential. Something so small, so easily overlooked, suddenly reveals itself as a golden ticket, capable of rewriting a family's fortune. This is why stories of overnight billionaires often begin with coins like this. It is easy to underestimate the power of such a coin. Some might dismiss it as old change, but that is the greatest mistake one could make. Spending it casually or selling it cheaply would be like giving away a kingdom for a loaf of bread. Those who know its value guard it closely, polish its story carefully, and wait patiently for the perfect moment to reveal it to market. Today, the hunger for rare coins is stronger than ever. Collectors from every corner of the world are searching for legendary pieces, and the 1951 copper-sided shilling sits high on that list. It is a treasure with both emotional and financial weight, capable of commanding respect in any collection and transforming lives with its sale. Its market value is not measured by logic, but by desire, and desire knows no limits. Imagine the transformation. Yesterday, you were ordinary, and today, you hold a coin worth millions. This is not just wealth. It is destiny. The 1951 shilling proves that fortune does not always come through hard labor or risky investments. Sometimes, it hides quietly in your own home, waiting for recognition. That is the magic of numismatics, and that is the power of this coin. So the legend of the 1951 2 shillings continues to grow. It is a coin that bridges a gap between ordinary life and extraordinary fortune, between history and modern wealth. For those who hold it, it is more than metal. It is a promise, a dream, a fortune condensed into a single disc. Never underestimate its power, for it carries within it the ability to change fortunes overnight. In conclusion, the 1951 2 shillings coin is not only real history, it is real magic. Next up, the 1952 shillings coin is one of those treasures that proves fortune often hides in the most unexpected places. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary pre-decimal coin from Britain, a small piece of copper-nickel struck for everyday transactions. But for those who truly understand its story, this coin is more than metal. It is a secret key to wealth, a relic of a vanished world, and a symbol of how destiny can hide in plain sight. This coin was minted during the reign of King George VI, a ruler remembered for his strength during Britain's most difficult years. By 1950, the Second World War was over, but the shadow of hardship still lingered. Rationing was still a reality. Industries were struggling to rebuild, and yet coins like the 2 shillings carried the quiet determination of a people who refused to give up. Each coin was more than currency. It was a testament to resilience. The obverse of the 1952 shillings bore the noble portrait of George VI, engraved with dignity and strength. His face symbolized duty, sacrifice, and leadership during times when Britain stood firm against unimaginable odds. On the reverse, the crowned Tudor rose was flanked by the shamrock, thistle, and leek, uniting England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales in a single design. This was more than decoration. It was a silent message that the United Kingdom, though scarred by war, remained whole and proud. What sets the 1950 shilling apart is its rarity. Compared to later issues, far fewer of these coins were struck, and fewer still survive in pristine condition. Add to this the mysterious examples that bear a copper-toned side, the so-called copper-side coins, and you have an object that collectors regard as near mythical. Whether through unusual minting conditions or decades of natural chemical toning, these copper-glowing coins radiate uniqueness that makes them irresistible. The copper-sided coins are not ordinary accidents. They are the result of something extraordinary, something that transformed their appearance into fiery, reddish brilliance. To a collector, this difference is not cosmetic. It is revolutionary. It is what makes a coin leap in value from a few pounds to millions of dollars in today's feverish market for rarity. That subtle change in tone has turned the 1950 shilling into a legend. Condition only magnifies the magic. A 1950 shilling that has been preserved in good or uncirculated condition is like a time capsule. Its edges remain sharp, its inscriptions clear, its crown gleams proudly as if struck yesterday. To find such a coin today is a miracle because most were used in daily life. They paid for bus fares, bread, and milk. They clinked in pockets and drawers, bearing the wear of millions of ordinary transactions. To see one untouched is to see history frozen in perfection. Now imagine this. A coin that once bought a newspaper in 1950 is today valued in the millions. That transformation is breathtaking. It demonstrates how numismatics is not just about collecting. It is about unlocking wealth from the overlooked and forgotten. The 1950 shilling in copper-tone glory is not simply money. It is fortune compressed into metal, capable of making its owner a billionaire overnight. Why does it hold such astronomical value? Because collectors are driven not just by logic, but by passion. Wealthy collectors, especially, are not satisfied with ordinary examples. They want the rarest, the most unique, the ones that no one else can have. The 1950 copper-sided shilling fits that desire perfectly. It is not just a coin, it is exclusivity incarnate. And when exclusivity meets wealth, price becomes limitless. Consider the journey this coin may have taken. It might have once slipped into the hands of a shopkeeper, been tucked away in a drawer for decades, and forgotten by all but time. Then years later, it reemerges, glowing with that copper tint, in good condition, ready to stun the world. This is the beauty of coins. They wait patiently for their destiny. The 1952 shillings coin was never meant to be ordinary. It was meant to become a treasure. The copper side itself is a mystery that excites the imagination. Some say it was caused by a batch of blanks that contained unusual amounts of copper. Others believe it to be a rare minting experiment, while others attribute it to natural oxidation that created something extraordinary. Whatever the truth, The effect is the same. A coin that shines differently. A coin that collectors chase with obsession. A coin that auctions cannot resist. Auctions are where the coin truly shows its power. A rare 1950 copper-sided shilling, in good condition, does not just sell, it electrifies. Wealthy collectors compete, bids skyrocket, and the final price often exceeds expectations by astonishing margins. For the seller, that moment is life-changing. What was once pocket change becomes a fortune that can buy mansions, luxury cars, or even entire estates. But beyond wealth, this coin carries emotional power. It is a piece of Britain's post-war history, a story told in metal. It speaks of survival, resilience, and national pride. It reminds us of George VI's reign, of a Britain rebuilding itself with dignity and determination. To own such a coin is to own not only wealth but memory, the kind of memory that makes history personal and real. The dream of finding such a coin is what makes the 1950 shilling so legendary. People love the idea that something so ordinary, overlooked for decades, can suddenly reveal itself as priceless. It is a dream of treasure hunters, the hope of collectors, and the fantasy of families rummaging through old boxes only to discover a hidden fortune. This coin embodies that dream more than almost any other. Its power lies in its unpredictability. Nobody knows when one will surface, or where. It might appear in a collector's case, in a small-town auction, or even in the drawer of an elderly relative who saved it out of nostalgia. That unpredictability creates excitement, and excitement fuels a legend. The 1952 shillings is not just a coin. It is a hunt, a mystery, and a prize. Today, the market for rare coins is hotter than ever. Investors see them as safe havens, while collectors see them as passions worth every penny. The 1950 shilling, with its copper side in good condition, sits at the intersection of both worlds, an investment and a passion, a fortune and a piece of art. It is little wonder that prices for this coin are spoken of in millions. If you are fortunate enough to hold one of these coins, you must never underestimate its value. Do not spend it, do not dismiss it, and certainly do not sell it cheaply. Such a coin has the power to change your story overnight. It is not just old currency. It is destiny waiting to be recognized. To let it go cheaply would be to throw away the fortune of a lifetime. The 1952 shillings coin teaches us an important lesson. Greatness is often hidden in plain sight. What others ignore, the wise recognize. What others discard, the collector treasures. And from that recognition comes unimaginable wealth. That is the secret of this coin. It is not just money, but wisdom turned into fortune. In the end, the 1950 copper-sided 2 shilling stands as both legend and reality. It is history preserved in metal, fortune hidden in plain sight, and destiny waiting in your hand. If you hold one today, you are not simply holding a coin. You are holding a story, a fortune, and a miracle. Treasure it, guard it, and... Next up, the 1958 2 shillings coin is one of those treasures that history left behind as a gift for the future. To most people, it may seem like nothing more than an outdated piece of money, a relic from the days before Britain moved to decimal currency. But for those who know its secrets, it is a symbol of hidden fortune. This coin has the power to turn an ordinary person into an overnight millionaire, and its story is nothing short of astonishing. The coin was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, just 6 years after she ascended the throne in 1952. The obverse carries her youthful portrait, elegant and dignified, created by Mary Gillick. On the reverse, the crown Tudor rose sits proudly at the center, flanked by the shamrock, thistle, and leek, emblems of the 4 nations united under the crown. This design was not just decorative. It was symbolic of unity, strength, and tradition in a country still adapting to a post-war world. 1958 was a significant year in itself. Britain was stepping confidently into the modern age. Industries were growing and society was transforming. Yet, the 2 shillings coin remained rooted in centuries of monetary history, carrying forward a system that had served Britain for generations. Few could have guessed that one day, coins from that year would be worth millions, not because of their face value, but because of their rarity and mystery. What makes the 1958 shilling stand out from countless other coins is the unusual copper-sided examples. Most were struck in copper-nickel alloy, which gives them a silvery appearance. But some pieces, through either minting quirks, storage reactions, or rare chemical toning, developed a copper hue on one side. This unexpected glow makes them extraordinary. Collectors see these copper-sided coins as treasures because they are far removed from the ordinary strikes of the Royal Mint. Condition is another factor that fuels their immense value. The majority of 1958 shillings were used heavily in circulation. They passed from hand to hand, buying groceries, newspapers, and bus fares. Over years of use, they became scratched, dulled, and worn. To find one today in good or near uncirculated condition is almost like finding a needle in a haystack. And when such a coin also carries a copper side glow, its rarity becomes so immense that its value can reach into millions. Imagine the power of this transformation. A coin that once bought a simple cup of tea in 1958 is today capable of buying mansions, cars, or even entire estates. That is the magic of numismatics, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and forgotten pocket change turns into life-changing treasure. For those lucky enough to own one, the 1958 2 shillings coin is not just currency. It is destiny in metallic form. Collectors are not just buying a coin when they pay astronomical sums for this piece. They are buying history. They are buying the story of a young queen in her early reign, of a country finding its feet in a new world, and of a currency system that would soon be swept away by decimalization. They are also buying exclusivity, the knowledge that very few people in the world can say they own a 1958 shilling with copper toning in pristine condition. The journey of such coins is fascinating to imagine. Perhaps one was saved by a shopkeeper who liked its unusual color, or tucked away by a child who thought it looked different from the others. Maybe it lay forgotten in a drawer for decades, waiting patiently for someone to recognize its true worth. And when these coins finally reappear in the modern market, they are no longer seen as small change. They are treated like crown jewels, commanding the attention of the world's wealthiest collectors. Auctions featuring such coins often turn into battles of pride. Wealthy collectors, driven not by logic but by passion, push the bidding higher and higher. The rarity of the copper side makes it irresistible, and in that frenzy, prices soar into millions. For the seller, that moment is life-changing. The coin that once rattled in a pocket now pays for dreams beyond imagination. Beyond its financial power, the 1958 shilling carries emotional significance. It captures the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, a period of great optimism for Britain. It embodies the traditions of a nation that was modernizing rapidly, but still held firmly to its heritage. Owning this coin is like owning a fragment of that history, a reminder of where Britain came from and how far it has traveled. The copper hue itself is a marvel. Some call it an error, others call it natural toning, but everyone agrees it sets the coin apart. The way the metal glows, with a reddish-brown warmth, makes the coin look alive. It is as if the passage of time itself touched the surface, blessing it with uniqueness. This effect cannot be replicated, and that is why collectors pay so much to possess it. It is also a coin of mystery. Why do only a few examples show the copper side? Was it an experiment at the Royal Mint? A rare variation of metal composition? Or simply nature working in its own mysterious way over decades? No one can say for certain, and that uncertainty adds to its allure. Collectors love puzzles, and this coin is one of the greatest puzzles in British numismatics. For the ordinary person who discovers one, the shock is unimaginable. To realize an old coin sitting in a box or drawer could be worth millions is a dream come true. It is a kind of story that inspires treasure hunters and collectors alike. The idea that fortune might already be in your hands, waiting only for recognition. This is why experts warn. Never spend or underestimate a 1958 2 shillings coin, especially one with copper glow and in good condition. To sell it cheaply would be like giving away a priceless painting for a few coins. Its value lies not only in metal, but in history, rarity, and collector demand. To the right buyer, it is not just worth thousands, but millions. Today, with global markets for rare coins hotter than ever, the demand for such pieces has skyrocketed. Collectors from America, Europe, and Asia all compete fiercely for British rarities, and the 1958 copper-sided shilling is one of the crown jewels. Every year, prices rise, and every year, its legend grows stronger. The coin represents more than wealth. It represents possibility. It proves that treasure is not always buried deep underground. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and patient hands to see it. The 1958 shilling is proof that history can make millionaires overnight. In the end, the 1958 2 shillings coin is not only a collector's dream. It is a miracle of history and fortune. It stands at the crossroads of beauty, rarity, and destiny. Those who own it hold not just metal, but magic. And when the time comes to reveal it to the world, its power is undeniable. It can transform lives, rewrite fortunes, and turn ordinary people into billionaires overnight. So, if you ever come across a 1958 2 shillings coin with a copper glow, know this. You are not holding a simple coin. You are holding history. You are holding fortune. And you are holding the very key to unimaginable wealth. Guard it well, for it has the power to change everything in a single night.